That was. I like this one.
Good evening. Welcome to all of you.
Turn up the volume.
Is this better? Yeah. Louder. Is it better if I speak without it or with it? No. All right, I'll speak with it.
Hecklers in the crowd.
I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. I especially want to express my gratitude to Rena's parents, Tanya and Sam. Where are you, Tanya and Sam? Bravo. Ari's parents, Sharon and Eddie. And also to Rena and Ari for providing for this wonderful day. All of you, please stand up.
Stand.
All right, yeah!
I'd also like to welcome Rena's grandmother, Sophia, and Ari's grandmother, B. As well as Rena's brother, Igor, and Ari's sister, Amanda.
Oh, God.
And all the rest of the family and friends who made long trips to be here today. Mazel tov to the bride and groom. And wonderful couple, yes?
Yeah!
These two put a lot of just to it. Thank you. As many of you know, I am the best man, which means I know Ari pretty well. As it turns out, I've known him for almost 25 years. I know that's the kind of thing you usually hear around a card table in Florida. It's true nevertheless. That being said, I've pretty much seen or heard it all when it comes to Ari. And I can tell you the following. This is a caring man, a brilliant man, a man I'm proud to tell everyone that will listen that I love him more than any other friend in the world. However, this is also a man who rode on the back of my scooter to a Halloween party in an oversized chicken suit.
Tell them what you were wearing.
This is a man I used to work out with in a gym and then come home and eat positive reinforcement ice cream and donuts. This is a man who decided that the O.J. Simpson trial was a good place to play a pep rally. This is a man who's This is a man. Oh This is a man who thought it was a great idea to hold social gatherings and band practices in a legally condemned building. Yes, he's come a long way to be here with us today, all the way from the mean, tough streets of Long Island to the fair city of San Francisco. From peeing in the pool at age 3 to peeing on parked cars at age 20. From backing the house at high school craps games to giving it all back to the house at his bachelor party in Las Vegas.
Yeah!
And more.
We are no more.
We grew up together as kids, and now we're finally growing up together as adults. That's why I want to take an extra moment to single out that person who has made this day possible for all of you, and especially for the great honor of giving me the best man. Thanks, Rena. Rena, if it wasn't for you, there is no way that this clown would ever have been ready to be married. I love Ari with all my heart, but deciding to marry Rena was probably the first thing in his life he did right the first time around. Not that he doesn't get there eventually, he does. But up until when he decided that Rena was the one, it took Ari a couple of tries to get it right. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about.
This is going to get good.
Yes. I'm worried.
I'm sitting in the sandbox at the number 6 school where we grew up. Ari had just moved to the neighborhood, and he's a lot like he was today. Or he was a lot like he is today. I remember one particular occasion when Sharon came up to me in the sandbox and said, "How come you don't want to play with my Ari anymore? What's wrong with him?" I was pretty taken aback. I wasn't used to that kind of confrontation.
That's because your mom said to the other kids, "How come you don't want to play with my John? What's wrong with you?" Different style.
Your mother tells me you don't want to play with him anymore. My mom said that. That's right. Tell me why you don't want to play with my Ari. What's wrong with him? It's not too late. We can't fix it. Sometimes he's just really weird, I said. You don't have to tell me. But here we are still today. Maybe not perfect at first, but we worked it out. But I'll tell you, if how Ari and I got along at first is any indication, Rena, you and I have a lot in common. Ari made quite a gallant first impression on Rena. They met at a party his junior year where Ari was in charge of flushing a drink-mixing toilet bowl. That's right. Booze in the tank, ice in a bowl, you flush it, you mix it up, and everybody gets a drink.
People loved it, really.
The next time they were supposed to see each other was at a poetry reading at a coffee shop. Ari and his friends were fashionably 45 minutes late. Luckily for Ari, Rena and her friend stuck around and they agreed to meet each other another time. That first date led to an all-night conversation and a burgeoning romance, which Ari then screwed up. I'll spare you the details, but for those of you who know Ari, I'm sure you know how hard it can be keeping in touch with him over long distance.
Yeah.
2 years later, Rena and Ari were still friendly on campus until that magical day that changes every relationship. Ari called Rena to see what she was up to, and she told him, not much since she had just broken her ankle, but thank you very much for asking. Ari's caring and charming nature convinced her to give that relationship a second try. He helped her to the supermarket and around campus, and they started to spend more time together. They became great friends. Actually, as Rena confided to me later on, they became best friends. From then on, it never took Ari more than one try to make sure that he and Rena would be happy. Maybe that's what the proverbial better half is all about. That person who makes us care enough to want to get everything right the first time. When Ari asked Rena to marry him, he was actually able to keep it a surprise. They had already picked out the ring and Rena was just waiting to see how he would ask her. All Ari would say was that Memorial Day weekend was coming up and that should be enough for her. The weekend before Memorial Day, Ari and Rena went to Half Moon Bay for what she thought was just going to be a lovely day trip. Before lunch, however, Ari suggested they take a nice walk up the path on the coast, which had magnificent views. Still suspecting nothing, Rena walked arm in arm to a spot with a panoramic view of the ocean. Ari turned Rena toward the ocean in a long embrace, and he told her he had something to give her. Finally, it seems to me, Rena must have known what it felt like to be Ari. Almost getting it right the first time. She looked uncomprehendingly at the box that Ari was handing to her. First of all, it was a shoe. A little Limoges wedding slipper that opened at the bottom with a hinge. Who could say? All she could do was look at it, turn it over in her hands. Slightly embarrassed but undaunted, Ari opened it for her and presented her with the ring and asked her to marry. I guess she must have been staring at him for half a minute, which is quite a long time when you're waiting for an answer to that question. Because he finally looked at her and said, "Well, what do you say?" Which takes us to today. Two best friends, each the best half of the other. Happiness on the first try. And certainly giving all of us a little bit of their joy. Please, join with me. Raise a toast.
Yeah.
To their wedding, to their love, to getting it right on the first time today.
Yeah.
Good.
Woo! All right.
One more time.
That's about lighting.
My name's Jennifer, and I'm on my feet right now for 2 reasons.
Tuck right in.
Don't the microphone.
My name's Jennifer, and I'm on my feet for 2 reasons. First, because I'm in favor of plenty of short speeches because they inevitably lead to plenty of toasts. And since I'm such an avid fan of the bubbly, I know that it's the drink of choice on occasions such as this. Getting up now has given me the opportunity to add to the champagne toast count. The second reason I'm on my feet is because my very dear friend Rena has made a beautiful bride today, and I wanted to tell her that she looks absolutely stunning. Rena and I have been best friends for almost a dozen years now, and I consider our friendship an invaluable asset, one I couldn't possibly do without. I think that we've helped each other through the last decade with remarkable ease and undeniable success. I met Rena, who still went by Irene at the time, on our first day of high school at university. I think I recall that our first class of the first day was French 1 with Madame Schreiber. Needless to say, a lot's changed since then, especially when you consider that at the time we met each other, we couldn't drive, vote, or drink, actually barely navigate ourselves from one class to the next on time, weren't employed or in love, and certainly couldn't have imagined just how quickly the next 12 years would pass by. Back in the fall of 1990, I had no idea that the timid invitation to meet later for lunch that day, whispered across traditional schoolroom desks somewhere in between "Bonjour, Madame Schreiber" and "Ça va bien, et toi?" would turn into the lifelong friendship we have now. Rena, thanks for deciding to take French instead of Spanish back in high school. Thanks for being my best friend. And thanks for asking me to stand beside you as you took your vows today. Although, I have to admit that since I am only 26 and still consider myself to be a relatively young thing, I wasn't too excited to see my name in the program handed out today, singled out among all the others as the only matron here. In fact, I'd be willing to hazard a guess that not even the eldest of you ladies out there would consider yourself a matron. And I'm almost certain that none of you intelligent men would dare to refute that. I personally believe that the title should be reserved for ladies well past their childbearing years. Someone more along the lines of the recently deceased Queen Mother is what usually comes to the majority of minds using the title matron. But I guess that this issue is one of those things that's basically black or white. If you aren't a maid, then you stand a pretty solid chance of being singled out as a matron. And I guess I can take a little bit of comfort knowing now that my very dear friend is a matron too. Rena, you'd better start trying to get used to the title, because I can guarantee it's going to take quite some time. So on behalf of all the wives here, welcome to the wonderful world of being a matron. I'm so glad to have you on board with the rest of us because while the title certainly stinks, the implication of it that you're happily married to a loving and devoted husband with a family of your own is truly a precious thing. Rena, it's been a pleasure and an honor to be able to share with you who's made a very beautiful bride on your wedding day. This, your first day as a wife, and this, the first day of the rest of your life. And now, will everyone please join me in raising a glass to the beautiful bride who's finally wed her prince, her new best friend. Rena, may your days of joy be more numerous than the petals in your bridal bouquet. To the bride.
To the bride.
To the bride. That's nice.
Something I would normally look forward to. Today is very happy exception. As the father of the bride, I have a privilege to make speech from parents. And I would like to start by saying what a real pleasure it is to welcome to this very happy occasion Sharon and Ed, Ari's parents, Sophia and Dee, grandmothers of Rena and Aris, together with relatives and friends of both families. There are also grandparents, Aris and Rena's, which I wish could be here, but aren't. And hopefully they're keep an eye on proceeding from afar. We are very proud today to see Rena looking so beautiful to get married to Ari. We enjoyed every minute of every day of Rena's childhood and growing up. I remember her first shoes, her first steps, her first words. I remember her first passion for the painting in the nursery school, and which was reflected on all of her clothes. I remember her passion. She developed passion for writing in the middle school and continued to cherish it on the high school. And my wife and we remember driving home empty nesters after dropping Rena off at Stanford. We felt very sad but very proud at the same time. At Stanford, she met Ari, they fell in love. Rena is a wonderful girl and she deserves a great husband. Ari, you are very lucky that she married you. Ari is a great person, very smart, intelligent, easygoing, generous, very popular with his friends. We are delighted. He is a great credit to his parents. And after spending some time with Sharon and Ed, I can see where he got these qualities from. We are delighted that Rena chosen someone who we like so much to be her partner. Today is my chance to impart some well-meaning advice on a marriage for both of you without fear of interruption or contradiction. Rena, remember, the perfect wife is one who helps her husband with the dishes. If you want something from Mari, just ask for it. Remember, he is a man, hints do not work. You will find in your marriage that you will make all the minor decisions, while Ari will make all major decisions. Ari, you will find that all future decisions turns out to be a minor measure. Ari, you must consider words of Oscar Wilde. Women meant to be loved, not understood. Now that you are married, Rena will always have the last word on any argument. Any word which you come afterwards it's by default the start a new argument. Remember, when you buy Rina flowers, it proves you're guilty. But of course, beware the far more serious consequences of not buying her flowers. To finish off, I would like to give some worldly advice on a happy marriage for both of you. There is no challenge in a marriage which cannot be overcome with the following 3-word sentences. I was wrong, you were right. It now gives me a great pleasure to propose a toast to the happy couple. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your glasses to the bride and groom, Rina and Ari.